Are you a realtor who wants to learn how to turn your open houses into an event, attract more people, and sell more homes? Then you're in the right place. Welcome to Rams Agents Talk Real Estate, the training series for real estate agents, brokers, and realtors. Today's speaker is Angela Newman, and the title of her talk is How to Turn Open Houses into an Event to Attract More People and Sell More Homes. Angela is a real estate broker associate licensed in Oklahoma and Texas. Angela has been a solo agent and a marketing and listing manager and a team leader. Angela managed real estate branding and marketing campaigns with budgets from zero to $40,000 a month. She helped build a database from 400 to 4,000 people. Angela has marketed over 1,000 properties for sale and has helped hundreds of agents. Angela is a master trainer with Rams Agents, a power coach with Epic Realty, and an expert at teaching agents how to build a referral based real estate practice through event marketing. Now on to the show. So please mute yourself until the end and keep yourself muted so we can hear. We're going to try to record a nice clean recording for you so we can do a replay. Ask any questions that you have in the chat. As you think of them, please add them to the chat. And we will be doing a formal Q&A at the end of the talk. Well, now let's give a great big welcome to Angela Newman.
Hello, everybody. I am so glad you guys are here. I'm really excited about this training. And yeah, at the end, I will cover a lot in this short time period. But at the end, go ahead and drop your questions, like you said, into the chat as you think about them. And then at the end, I'll go through and answer any questions, and we'll have plenty of time for questions and answers and stuff. So, yeah. Can you guys see my screen yet? Awesome. Okay. Well, we're going to talk about how to turn your open house into an event. And why do turn your open house into an event? So I'm going to share that with you as well as actually how to do it. Here's a little bit, Mike shared a lot about me. Here's a little bit more. One of the biggies is I've hosted a lot of events. So I've hosted over 65 events, all the way from small, intimate events with just a couple of people, all the way up to big events with about 1,000 people. And so I am really passionate about working with your sphere, past clients, and hosting events, and how can we leverage that in our business. So, open houses, most agents are already doing them. But what most open houses are missing is the opportunity of how to take it kind of to the next level. And so I'm going to share with you how you could just do a couple of more things, tweak a little bit, and take it to the next level. So a lot of agents, they kind of do just the basics for an open. They're going to put it in the MLS, which will feed to Zillow, and maybe some other websites. They usually will put a sign in the yard ahead of time, letting, the neighbors know that the open is going to be what time and date. And then they just kind of sit and wait and let the people just kind of find them. But what if we could just do a few things and not to overcomplicate it? Because we're not trying to invent and reinvent how to do an open house. There's so much training out there on how to do a good open house. And I encourage you to find a good training and system and hold those opens um, if that's a part of your business plan. So what we're going to do is just add on to what you're already doing. So if you are holding opens or you want to hold opens. So what we want to do is to change the way that we look at open houses and start thinking of them as an experience. And the reason to do this is to get more attention. So events stand out, to create more conversations. This is going to give conversation talking points, more visibility. So you're going to be more excited to share it. You're going to invite more people and you're going to have a lot of fun. So, like I said earlier, when we were just starting, I am in Houston, but I also sell in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And Patty Brannock. She is on my team, and we partner together on a lot of events in Oklahoma. So we recently, this last Easter, we turned our open house into an extravaganza. And so this is going to give you just a little bit of an idea of what you could do. You can do this with pretty much any theme. I like to pick a theme. So, but in this case, we had the Easter theme, and so we promoted this on Facebook events and social media. The thing that I love about Facebook, creating an event in Facebook, is all of your friends. It's super duper easy to, once you've created the event, you can go through and invite them all. And so you can pick and choose. Okay, so this person lives in the area, this even agent lives in the area because, yeah, why not invite agents? The more eyes that we get on the open house, the better. And so we invited a ton of people. We invited more than 250 people. And we had some snacks and prizes. Uh, so we had a lot of fun. And so what happened? Well, the win wasn't just the traffic. We had lots of people come through, 11 groups, and some of those groups were big. They invited the whole family. There were lots of kids that came through, but the real win was the conversations and the engagement that followed. So we had about 11 groups that visited. We invited, like I said, a lot of people. We invited our sphere, the neighbors around the open house, agents. We kind of thought, well, let's make it a broker open/open house and invited agents. We had 91% of the people give us feedback. Almost every visitor shared their contact information and what they thought about it. So that was huge. Having that feedback to go to the seller to give them the feedback. Um, but the other thing that was really awesome is the conversations and how much easier it made it to have those conversations because of the event and the party. We had a Easter egg basket where they could draw out an Easter egg. Each one of those eggs had maybe a prize in it. A couple of them didn't have anything in it. And so we would let them draw, we'd let them know what was going on. They could come and, have some snacks and everything. So the conversations flowed naturally. We did have some people that are in our sphere that stopped by. So that was a lot of fun. And so overall, uh, just a great time. And we had a realization, it wasn't about the eggs necessarily. The theme was what made it fun, but the invitation, the ability to invite everybody that we know, pretty much, to the open house. That's what really made a big impact. So there's four stages of an event open house. And so a lot of agents, they really focus on the day of the open. And then, kind of wonder, well, why am I not getting a lot of traffic? Is it really worth it to do an open house? And that's understandable. If you're not having people come, then I would think the same thing. But when you host an event style open house, honestly, even only if you have one, two, even maybe zero people come, if you've done all of the other stuff, it's still worth it to host an open house. So there are four steps to host an open house, event style. And you can do this with just about any event. So, this strategy, these four stages work on all events. And the first stage is the planning stage. The second stage is the promotion stage. The third stage is the presenting stage, this the day of the event. And the fourth stage is after the event, what you share. So, stage one, the pre-planning. So you don't need a perfect concept, you just need a reason to invite people. So, some themes that you could have for your open house event could be related to a holiday, a season, spring, summer, fall, winter, uh, community events that are going on, family friendly activities, food, drinks, and even just simple prizes. So it's not about perfection. It's just about creating a reason to come and making it fun. Stage two is the promotion and the invitations. Now, this is still pre-open house stuff that you do, and this is where the magic starts. This is relationship marketing, not just advertising. So, this gives us an opportunity to reach out to our sphere and our database, to invite all of those people through email, calls, texts, through our Facebook event uh, page where we can invite people directly that way. We could message them. We could send a postcard out if we had enough time, for deliverability. So, a great way to reach out to your sphere and your database. It's a great reason to invite the neighbors. And, we all know when we have an open house and people say, "Oh, how many people showed up at your open?" And I just had a couple of nosy neighbors, well, let's turn that into like a positive thing and invite the neighbors and ask them who do they want to be moving into their neighborhood and make it an event. Maybe they're thinking about selling. So, fun way and reason to invite the neighbors. It's a great way to do your social media, sharing ahead of time, inviting on social media. You can go to neighborhood Facebook groups and post it into the Facebook groups, or just even there's like moms groups, different business groups that you can post it into. And that's going to help put you out there. That's going to brand you and your business and just get you in front of more people. And then the other thing is adding that yard sign there early. That's going to build anticipation. The neighbors are going to put two and two together. People may even start driving by the house. They're going to see the sign in the yard. And then the next step that we have is the stage two, and that's the presenting. And again, I want to stress you do not need a huge budget because it's not about spending a lot of money. It's about making a fun event that people are going to remember. And so, what you can do, you can set the mood. Um, the Dollar Tree, the dollar store is a great place where you can buy some balloons. If you bring a speaker, you can play music. You could offer refreshments. Keep it very simple. You could offer just cookies. You could offer, if it was depending on what time of the day, you could offer donuts or whatever, tacos for your Taco Tuesday. Uh, but I always, little hint, I usually offer something that my family likes. And that way, if we have leftovers, then we're still going to eat it. It's not going to go to waste. Um, and a really important thing about the day of the event is capturing every single attendee's information. So have your sign-in sheets, your feedback forms. I personally like to have each person sign in with, they sign in their information, and there's that little tip. If you already have a couple of people signed in, then you're going to be more likely to get everyone's information. Um, but as far as the feedback, I usually like to ask those questions myself. So I have a separate clipboard where I ask the feedback and I write it down as they tell me. And it's even, a little easier when you have two people because then Patty and I can both be engaged, or if there's multiple people in the house at the same time, then she can be speaking with one group and I can speak with another. But getting that feedback, that contact information, that those names and numbers is super, super important. And then another thing that you can do, which adds to the festivity, is to include a giveaway. And small prizes create excitement and a reason to engage. Now, they don't have to be big. So, some things that we've given away are like a $10 Amazon gift card, a scratcher ticket. Um, we've given away like a mug, some kind of just simple gifts. Another thing that we've done here with Rams agents is we do like a candy counting contest. So let them count the candy and they can enter into a drawing to win something like jelly beans or we've done candy corn around Halloween. So just make it fun and it again, it doesn't have to be over the top. Post event. Now, this is where the real relationships begin, and this is where a lot of people drop the ball. And I get it because you get busy, and when the event is over, you're like, okay, yay, the event's over. But continuing on and doing the stage 4 is where you're going to see good results. So, number one, follow up with the attendees. Number two, share photos and videos. Now you can share it on social media, you can share it in an email to your sphere. This is cool. That shows that social proof that you had the event and it was a lot of fun. Thank people for coming. So that's following up with the attendees. Just let them know that you're glad that you were able to meet them, thank them for their feedback. Add those contacts to your database and then stay connected and continue that. So once they get into your database, now they can continue to receive uh, emails from you, notifications of future events when you are doing anything, with the community. So why this strategy works to turn it into an event is you get more exposure. It's a better seller experience because the seller, they want you to sell their house. And so when they see you going to this much effort, they're impressed. This is more buyer opportunities. So the more that we can get this listing in front of buyers, as well as, some buyers may come through and this isn't a good fit for them, capturing their information, following up, and then maybe we can have a new buyer client. And then the real biggie that I think a lot of the traditional open houses miss is the chance to reconnect and have conversations with your spirit and your past clients. So it makes it an easy and fun way to do it. So a well-executed event open house, it's not about doing something that you're not already doing. It's about taking something that you're probably already doing and just making it bigger, making it into an event. And because of that, it could potentially increase your buyer leads, your referrals. You're going to have a reason to do social media content. You can do social media. You can do live videos on Facebook. There's so many reasons and ways that you can use social media, potential seller leads, database touches, community visibility. Again, don't overcomplicate it. So it's not about perfectionism. And you might be thinking, well, this sounds like a lot. And, we're all busy. So again, just keep it very, very simple. The biggest reason to turn your open house into an event is a reason to invite people. So have those conversations and keep it simple. So um, this strategy is something that we talk about a lot in our Rams agents group. It's also something that I teach about with my coaching clients. And so yeah, now we can go ahead and open it up to Q&A and see if anyone has any questions. You could also kind of share what's an event idea that you could run in the next 30 days with your open house, or something that maybe would be holding you back, how we can solve that.
Angela, this is fantastic. What a great presentation. Thank you so much for sharing with us how you're putting together your open house and turning it into an event. I really liked your 4 stages, and I basically noticed it was the 4 Ps. The 4 Ps is how I was remembering it: the plan, promote, present, and post. I thought that was pretty cool. You mentioned that you had, I'm going to ask a couple questions while people are thinking of theirs and posting them in chat. Um, in your event, you had 11 groups through. How many, and this was for your event open house, how many would you have, say, in a non-event or a traditional open house? What do you think the number of people coming through would have been?
It's always going to depend on the location and the house. This house was in a good location. So I'm sure that that had a little bit to do with it, but probably I would say 3 to 4 for
That's cool.
that
So you
that one.
basically tripled it, tripled the number of people there. Did the seller appreciate what you had done? Did you give us report back to the seller? What they
Mhm.
think?
Oh yeah, he was very appreciative, that we held it, and the feedback was critical because we did that one at kind of at the beginning of the listing period. So I don't know that we'd even had any showings yet. And so having that feedback, it helped us strategize to perfect our marketing, because we were trying to promote something about the house that maybe wasn't the best feature. So we switched gears and started promoting it a little bit differently.
Interesting point. A lot of top agents I've chatted with over the years, they'll do an open house the very first weekend that the property hits the market. Was this the very first weekend that the property hit the market?
I believe it was, yeah.
Yeah, so it kind of gets it off to a good foot. Um, I'm sure people are going to want to know, did you get any clients, leads, or business results from either the event, the open house event itself, or from the invitations that you put out?
We did. And so we had a couple of people that came, groups that came through that were kind of in the very beginning stages um of the whole thing. And so they weren't going to be ready to do anything anytime soon, but this particular listing had a mother-in-law, what we found out is maybe it's not best for a mother-in-law, maybe it's best for a home office or business or just extended master. But yes, so we got, I believe, 10 out of 11 of the group's contact information. And it's interestingly too, so one group that I remember came through with that was a part of our sphere, and they are actively looking. And then one guy came through that Patty knew, Patty's on this call, that she actually helped. It was like a past client, but we hadn't connected all of the dots yet on it. So that was interesting. Um, but the key was that we heard just about everybody's story, where they were at, whether they were working with an agent or not, and their contact information.
That's pretty fantastic. And I'm really impressed that you got 10 out of 11 people to give you their contact information. It's a really high percentage. And you mentioned some of the things you were doing. Uh, Still, I'm impressed with that. What do you think was the reason you were able to get so much contact info, number one? And number two, do you think it was accurate?
Oh yeah, I believe it was accurate. And I would say that the reasoning that we got the high contact information, we just made it seem like this is what we do. Please go ahead and sign in, and That way we can, well, we didn't even say that we can follow up with you. We just said, please go ahead and sign in. We're hosting an event today if you didn't already know. And we went through everything. So take a look around. We would love your feedback at the end. We have candy and giveaways for the kids. We have snacks over there. Um, and we're going to do, you can draw an egg and win a prize and stuff like that. We just shared all of that and just made it seem very laid back, and they would just sign it.
So by signing in, that's how they entered the prize drawing. Is no, that was separate.
hmm Now you could do it that way, and we've done it that way before. But no, in this particular case, no, it was just a traditional open house sign-in sheet on a clipboard, and then they didn't have to sign in to draw an egg.
It's pretty good. The Some of the top agents I've chatted with, they do a lot of open houses. They said that the way they're getting the contact information is they'll tell the people as they walk in, the seller is concerned about safety and security. And so we need to know everybody who comes in and out, please sign in. But it sounds like you did not take that approach because that approach works, but it also seems a little abrasive. It sounds like you took more of a happy-go-lucky, a pleasant approach that worked just as well, if not better. I mean, you got a lot of people to sign in.
And I usually don't have a problem with having people sign in. So I think that if you just lead with confidence, sometimes I do say, I have used that. The seller has requested, that everybody sign in. With the event, I just don't feel like it was as necessary. It was just like, hey, welcome. Thanks for coming in. Can you go ahead and sign in here? Uh, and then sharing everything, and then you hand them the clipboard, and then they just fill it out. And I don't know. We can let Patty share as well too, because she helped me host that event. And what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I thought it was very successful, and I'll just throw in there that since then I've done a couple more standard open houses in that house. And again, I have had no problem getting people to sign in. I typically welcome them, smile, engage, and say, if you don't mind, please go ahead and sign in. I usually say something like we give feedback to our property owner about how many people came through the open house today. And they're usually like, oh yeah, where's the pen? I mean, some people I don't get they don't put their email, something like that. But overall, I'd say the two I've had since then, I've had 90% engagement on giving me the information. There's just been a couple where we didn't get full stuff. So the events are really fun and I get excited about them and I like to have fun and, you know, but the more typical open houses, I just reduce the event down smaller. It's just a little bit smaller. Maybe not as much fanfare, or I don't have maybe I don't have balloons. Maybe I just have a jar of candy or something simple. But the event is really fun. And I was just sitting here making a note of, yeah, there's an out of school thing coming. I mean, I was just thinking about a couple listings we have that, we might be able to do another one soon. So, but I appreciate Angela and all of this information because we went through a period of time where we didn't have to do open houses. It was that crazy world. And now we are again. And I actually have created a checklist for post open house stuff. And because I don't mind helping other agents, I got to make sure I follow up with them though and let them know what we had. And so there's a lot of fun we can do to build these open houses up again.
Thanks, Patty.
That's great feedback, Patty. Now, did you say, Patty, did you did more of a traditional open house or you did just an event, but a smaller event open house? And if so, what was the attendance like compared to this first one with 11 people, 11 groups that showed?
So the first, I call it kind of I'll say it's a smaller event is how I look at that one. I don't just go over and, put a sign in the yard that morning and open the door. I mean, I'm preparing uh, but on a smaller level. Now, the first one I had, we had five groups come through. So we had 11 in the big event, then we had five. And the last one I did, again, we had five. And we had repeat people. So we had some people come back again to the open house and bring more family members. So the follow-up and the engagement with everyone is really important. That post follow-up, I think, is extremely important. And Angela's an expert at that stuff. And I think that's why we get those relationships, you know. So, but we had 5 and 5. So
You mentioned you had repeats. Did you invite the people back who had already been there the first time or the second time?
I let people know we're doing another one, but I happened to engage with a neighbor and I was over putting the yard sign in and I said, open house again. And she said, I know they have a situation. They're looking for a specific family situation. And at the day of the open house, I hadn't even been there 15 minutes and probably 12 family members showed up. She brought the whole family through. And so that was a great engagement. And we're really following up with them. So,
Cool. Yeah, you said that the property has something unique about it and that somebody might want that feature. I've always found it's good to lean into it, whether it's positive or a negative feature. Just really lean into it because then you'll find the people that are interested in it, you'll have a good attraction. Well, this has been very helpful. Angela, Patty was talking about your follow-up being really strong. You had a couple notes on it. Any other pointers that you think we should know about follow-up?
Well, I would say that, it's real easy to not do it. So if you can time block, like Patty and I met earlier this week, and we were talking about following up with some of the people that have been to the opens, and she's like, "Yeah, Wednesday's my day." So she has it time blocked, and that's important. Just make it a part of your business. And then, but the easiest way to do that too is just add them if you already have a CRM, you already have something that you're doing, an email list, add them to that, and then they can get whatever you're already doing. So we don't want to have to overcomplicate anything.
Cool. That sounds really good. Well, I don't see any questions for you in chat yet. If anybody has any questions that they would like to ask Angela about how to put on an open house as an event and how that process goes, now would be a good time to ask it either by unmuting yourself and asking or typing it in the chat and I'll ask for you. You had, Angela, I'll just ask a real quick question while we're waiting for anybody else who wants to ask. Um, you mentioned, and you had a couple little quick notes, but what are other ideas for how to turn an open house into an event? What other themes could people use? Like you gave the example of the egg and Easter and extravaganza, and that works great once a year. What other themes can you think of just brainstorming here real fast that people can apply next week or maybe a month from now or a couple months from now?
Mm-hmm. Sure. So, before, when you're in that planning stage, that's like one of the first things is you want to determine your date, your time, and your theme. And I like to look at the calendar. Okay, so what holidays are coming up? What season are we in? Make a list. But there's also certain themes that don't have to be a holiday or a season, and it can just be uh, even, okay, let's say you don't want to do an egg extravaganza, but it can be an open house extravaganza, like a traditional EXTRA. It could be a uh, um, for fall, fall into home ownership event. If you're doing a new construction property open house, come check out this new subdivision. I'm hosting a party event in this subdivision. Uh, it could be even, let's see, what holidays do we have coming up? We have the 4th of July coming up. Mother's Day is this Sunday. I was hoping that we have a guy that's actually going to hold the open at the house, that listing this Sunday. And it could be a Mother's Day theme. Um, we have Memorial Day coming up. From just past experience, like a big holiday like Memorial Day, 4th of July, you do not want to host an open on that weekend because people are busy, they're in like vacation mode brain, but you can do it the weekend before the weekend and just kind of lead up to it. Stars and Stripes, open house, have firework, little things. You're not going to actually do fireworks, but just some kind of decorations on your social media and your graphics and things that make it fun. But it doesn't have to be, I mean, it can actually just be open house extravaganza. And if you go into ChatGPT, it can give you a lot of ideas. So you can just put in a prompt, something like, I want to turn my open house into an event, and can you help me come up with some themes? I'm in May, and so looking for something that I can do in May and June. Can you give me 10 different ideas? And it'll give you some ideas. And that usually will spark some of your, ideas to develop it into something else. But
It's cool, Angela. Yeah, I like the Mother Day open house event. You could market that as, hey, you need to buy your mom a home. Come on over here, buy your mom a home. Let's go. Come on, kids, buy your mom a home. They can play with it, right? So good job. It sounds like this was a smashing success, and I assume you're going to do this again. You're going to do more open house events.
we will. And yeah, and I have a new listing coming up here. So already starting to think about, what I will do, and excited to share how that turns out. And yeah, the key is really, like Patty said, you can do it. You don't have to do it on the big scale like we did with the extravaganza. You can do it on the smaller scale, but the key is the 4 stages. So the planning, the promoting it and inviting the day of the event, and then the post event. So the key is that follow up to make it really for you to I don't know, just take it to the next level.
Very good, Angela. I got to ask you the real difficult question, and then I see Blake has one. So I'll go first. Um, you've done a lot of open houses. How many clients, how many closings have you received from doing open houses over the years?
Mhm. Well, one of the interesting things is I have not done a ton of open houses because I was in management and marketing and all of that for a long time. And I would help the agents put their open houses together and help them promote them. Personally, I didn't, I held a bunch early in my career and now I'm holding them again. But I would say that out of me personally hosting, let's say 20 to 25 open houses, I've sold 2 houses at an open house.
That's pretty good, like 10%. And then you said that you saw in the large team you were working with that a lot of the agents were doing open houses. I assume that you would see when they got contracts what the source was. Was it often that they would have the source was from open houses?
In different markets, yes, certain markets, yes, and other markets, not so much. In certain markets where it's a huge seller's market, it's more often that you're going to pick up that buyer. But in a buyer's market, yes. It's, when there's did I get that turned around? Let me think about that. So,
Depends on who you're picking up, a buyer or a seller.
right. So when it's, let me just rephrase it then. When there's a lot of buyers wanting one house, it's easier to sell the house at the open house. When there's a ton of listings and not that many buyers, I mean, you're probably going to pick up that buyer and then help them, navigate through all of those listings. But either way, it's a great way to, pick up a client in a transaction.
Very good, Angela. Blake, you had a question?
Yes, I was just thinking, Angela, I know the specific example you gave, you had it was a new listing. So this was introducing it to the market, and your open house coincided with that, which is fantastic. I have a couple of listings that I've done already, open houses, the initial ones. I've actually, on one of them, I've held it open three times, I think. And I'm just wondering, have you had any experience with coming back around for the fourth open house, the fifth open house? Do you do kind of the same formula, or do you have any other twists that you give it?
hmm I think that the key is that depends on how often you're doing them. If you're doing Saturday and Sunday every weekend, I would probably tailor a little bit differently, because it kind of is going to lose its huge event. But like Patty said, the key is that if you promote it and then the post part, those are the keys that you can do for any open house. And then turning it into an event, you can still promote it, I would create a Facebook event for every single open house. I would put it in all of the Facebook groups. I would post it on social media, even if you're doing it every single weekend. Do you have to have a theme and do you have to do balloons and all of that? Maybe not necessarily. But you could. I mean, it might cost you like $20 an open house. Could you get a sponsor and help you pay for it? And the giveaways, we had giveaways left over from our open house and we reuse them. So it's not like we're losing money or anything. So, and it would just consistently get you in front of people. And Blake, you do a really good job with your opens. You do video, so you do a lot of pre-social media. But I think that the key is having your own checklist and plan that you can host. You can do it every single time.
Great question. Great follow-up. I'll add Mitch Rybeck, who's one of the top agents that we've interviewed over the years. Had his start his very first year. He closed 24 properties, and he did that all through open houses. And he would host an open house every week, not only every weekend, pretty much every day. What he found was a vacant property that he would just sit all the time, constantly hold open. So to answer your question, Blake, yeah, it works if you even hold the same property over and over and over again, because you can find a new group of buyers coming through over time. And so I don't know why you couldn't do that same approach with an occupied property where you're hosting it open every week or every other week or something like that, because you're getting different foot traffic. And Patty just brought up a great example of this property that we've been talking about as the subject, where it was held open 3 times and people came all 3 times. And in fact, you're getting some very motivated or excited people to come back multiple times, which I think is really interesting. So, all right, if I don't see any other questions for Angela. Angela, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for sharing the open houses that you've done and your strategies. Thank you again for coming in and sharing with us today.
You're very welcome. And I just wanted to let everybody know that if you would like to watch these recordings, we post them on Rams Talk Real Estate on the YouTube channel. Or let me see here. I have it up here. Make sure that I said the right thing. Rams Agents Talk Real Estate. So just go into YouTube and Google that, and you can watch the replays, or if that's where you are right now and you're watching it, then you can just bookmark it, save it, and that way, every time that we do one of these videos, you can see it, and we'll see when it's released.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Angela, again, this was a wonderful presentation. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. As Angela mentioned, you can watch the replay on YouTube at Rams Agents Talk Real Estate. That's our channel. And by the way, this presentation was sponsored by Rams Agents at Epic Realty. If you would like to learn more about us, go back to the person who invited you to this meeting. All right, be sure to watch out for the next Rams Agents Talk Real Estate presentation, and bye for now. Thank you, everybody.